don't do this. You can do that. You can't do that. And that she'll trust me enough to be like, there has to be a reason. Like, obviously there'll be times where I'm like, hey, you can't go to that Marilyn Manson concert, and then she's going to try to kill herself, Paris Jackson style. But at the same time, I mean, like, there will be instances like that where I'll be like, no, you can't do this, and she'll just lose her shit. For sure. I completely see that coming.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you going to do when she starts learning what your buttons are and deliberately pushing them? Like, I would say, like, you're not a
very good writer. No one likes your style. Like, oh,
what?
That's what her buttons that she like.
Oh, you're a hack. Your podcast isn't that funny.
I tried.
I really gave it my best shot. You guys never even talked about Star Trek.
But I mean, I think I'm on a personal journey right now, and
dealing with anger, learning to incorporate it, and get
there was. I went to a concert this past Monday, and I went with my daughter's mother, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this concert?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, I do, but I can't get a sitter for Adrian until the doors were at 7. The concert started at 8.
Right.
And she's like, I can't get a sitter for her until right at 7, so we'd have to show up late." And I was like, "Well, that's fine. That's cool. Whatever."
You only missed the opener, right?
And so the day of, the sitter was running late.
Right.
And before, I would have gotten upset. I would have been like, well, you need to hurry the fuck up.
Right.
Let's do this. But
I guess Adrian's coming to the concert.
I guess so. But but now I really I'm the one who decided that that it would be okay to go to this concert late to basically put my time frame at the whims of someone else. So I have no right.
You made the bed. You gotta sleep in it.
Exactly, and that's kind of where I'm going now. But
that's nice. I've got to learn. I'm going to work on that too.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
learning how to accept things once they're out of your control, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, you can either just give yourself grief over it, or give someone else grief, and then feel like a dick afterwards, or
that's a good point. So all this ties into Code of Honor because
because it was kind of racist.
Yeah, it was incredibly racist. But
also, how do we get on that tangent?
Oh, the terrorists,
the little terrorists across the hall.
Also, their mother is in contentious terms with their father, who does not live there. I assume he's the father.
Which, I mean, that's another one of my jams. Is
getting along with
my baby mama.
Right.
I mean,
it's in your best interest to find a way to get along with your co-parent.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't have any kind of legal custody agreement.
Right.
It's I try to see my kid as much as possible.
Right.
And so I pretty much see her every weekend.
Right.
And and she's cool with that, and baby mom was cool with that, and it's as long as everything is as long as we're polite and cordial to each other, it's going to remain that way. And,
right.
And also, and we'll hang out with her. Like before the movie, we're having breakfast at Mickey D's.
Mm.
We wanted to go to the park, but it had rained, and so
it's a little muddy out.
So let's they have a play area
indoors,
and that's also very important to me. Is my kid seeing us interacting
and getting along,
and
it's important. Kids need to see that.
And that's another thing is that it's I don't think it's the whole stay together for the kids thing is bullshit.
Yeah, that's a horrible thing to do. That will poison their future relationships.
Because
even if they don't know, they know.
Because basically what you're teaching them is that
healthiness and happiness are secondary to
someone else, something else. And so even
some arbitrary rule.
Well, I mean, even if it's your kid who you love more than anything, you're still putting your own personal happiness, behind something else,
and that can't hold forever.
And so it's more important to me for her to be like, oh, mom's happy, dad's happy,
and they get along okay.
And they're not together, but that doesn't matter as long as they're both happy.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
So the Last Outpost
Yes.
introduces the Ferengi.
Right, not in grand fashion. I'm going to put that on Front Street. So
I enjoyed the first half of this episode a lot.
Until they get down to the planet.
Leading up to the... what's that?
What are you saying over there?
You're just now getting the Star Trek?
What's the last episode? We've been talking about it for a while.
How long have we... What are we at right now?
We're about an hour 20.
God damn, this show is lengthy.
I
like it, though.
The Last Outpost, we get the Ferengi, which they were intended to
according to Rob, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also according to the Wikipedia.
Oh, that they were intended to be like the Klingons of the Next Generation, kind of?
Like the Klingons of the Romulans, yeah. What?
They are nowhere near as cool as either of those races.
No, I mean, they look kind of, alien.
It's a cool production design, but I mean, like, the way they act, they basically are acting like
Planet of the Apes monkeys.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. Planet of the Apes monkeys who are also backstabbing like Judases.
Yeah. Well, it starts off there. The Enterprise is chasing this ship,
a Ferengi
ship that they say they've stolen, like some kind of like energy particle proton pack, whatever.
Right, some piece of important technology.
And so they're chasing them, and then all of a sudden the ship fires on it, and the Enterprise essentially loses power.
Right, and the power's continuing to drain.
And so
they think the Ferengi have done it.
They're like, oh shit, like they got us right where they want us. And so they start talking to the Ferengi, and no one knows what they look like. No one has seen them.
Right, somehow, and this is something I just don't buy, is that somehow the Ferengi, they know a lot about them. They're not separated by some neutral zone or something like that. Other races can talk to them about them, but somehow they have no idea what a Ferengi looks like. Yeah. It's not like the Romulans where they're separated by a vast divide of space.
Yeah.
Even that's still a little iffy, but I can buy that. But the Ferengi, like, come on, you'd know what they look like.
Yeah, well, like with Romulans, it was kind of like no one had really like fucked around with them. Like no one like right. They had no like they exist for sure, but like
there was a treaty, but nobody really knows.
But we haven't really seen them for a minute.
Right.
But these guys, like, they're like firmly entrenched in like that world, like,
and somehow Starfleet, which is basically everywhere and trying to learn everything. Yeah. I mean, that's their job, is to learn as much as possible.
At least that's the Enterprise's job.
Yeah. Somehow they don't know, but whatever. Okay, they haven't seen the Ferengi. Fine.
So they're talking. They're Picard and the captain of the Ferengi ship.
Right.
And,
the Ferengi ship thinks that the Enterprise has taken them out. That we already.
Well, yeah. That. They're talking.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's right. Picard's getting ready to surrender.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, we want to negotiate the surrender, and Ferengi's like, unconditional surrender will not be accepted, and so like Picard's like, wait, what? Like, and the viewers are like, that what? Like, do you want a condition? Like, we'll accept your surrender on the condition that you
all wear funny hats.
Otherwise, no dice.
Otherwise, prepare.
And so then it's revealed that the Ferengi are like, okay, we'll surrender, but
we have terms.
Yeah, we have terms.
And Picard just
turns around and like does the whole cut it.
Right,
like,
he has Tasha cut the.
Which was hilarious. Again, I laughed out loud.
That was a great joke.
And so yes, they're both in this predicament, and it turns out that the planet that they're orbiting is
draining their power.
Yeah, what Geordi called is an energy something or other.
Energy
something that gathers energy. It's sucking the energy off the plane.
It's like a battery. I guess.
And so and then I guess the god of...
he's not the god, he's a guardian who's been of a long dead civilization.
Yeah, I mean, he has like the powers of a god, it seems like.
Right, he's like the Star Trek V, why does God need a starship type of character. A very classic Trek trope. This sort of omnipotent being that shows up as a Zordon face in the air.
Yeah. So yeah, they go down the planet, like 3 Ferengi who are just monkeying around, just completely crazy.
Like, there's supposed to be a science expedition, right? Like, didn't he say we will also send down scientific officers?
Well, they also, they attack them. They attack they attack Riker and LaForge
and is Yara down there?
I don't know if she's down there or not, but
she is, because she gets the drop on them later.
That's right. They get attacked. So I don't think and then Riker says,
and Data's there too.
Riker says you've you've betrayed us, whatever.
Right, you dicks,
you assholes. This wasn't what the
that wasn't part of our deal.
Oh yeah, that wasn't the deal. So the grandma death of the planet
materializes in physical form.
And at this point, Ferengi's like, dude, we'll straight kill these fools if you give us power to our ship.
Right.
And Riker's like, that's ridiculous. Like,
why would you do that?
And so the energy dude pretty much...
well, the Ferengi accuse the Enterprise of being a hostile force, and Riker says, yes, we are hostile with the Ferengi. So the Grandma Death, which is also in the script, apparently was named Portal 63, materializes in human form, and looks like he's going to attack Riker. But then Riker...
Riker's, Portal 63 is like, would you do the same? Would you destroy the Ferengi? And Riker's like, no. Like, that doesn't help anybody. Yeah, and so at that point he's like, dope answer. Like,
right, and there's some Sun Tzu quotes getting thrown around in this episode.
Fear is a true enemy, the only enemy, but little do they know, fear is a choice, so...
Yeah, as we figured
Enemies are a choice? What does that mean?
Enemies can be a choice, I guess. I don't know. I mean, somebody's got to make the choice. Like, I guess sometimes enemies are thrust upon you. Like, Japan showed up and bombed us.
I guess we'll have to fight you guys.
You have to treat them as an enemy once they've done that. So, I mean, like, the Enterprise was trying to be peaceful, and the Ferengis were like, no, but I also like that Riker doesn't flinch when Portal 63 does his whole karate move.
Yeah, he, like, has, like, the, whatever, like, the sword type thing.
A sword staff, a staff with a pointy end on it.
And then, like,
he does, like, a figure eight move.
Well, like, he's gonna attack, like, yeah, he does, like, some fancy, like, ninjutsu
old person
moves.
kung fu, aikido.
And then, like, he swings at Riker, but, intentionally misses him, but, Riker, like, doesn't flinch at all. He was ghosting.
He was ghosting. He was Shatner, is what he's doing. Like, it's very interesting how they've separated Kirk into body and mind in this show so far. I mean, they're definitely distinctive, but at the same time, at this point, all I see in Riker is, like, basically Kirk, but without the command.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And a little more level-headed.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't lose. He never screams, I'm Captain Kirk.
I'm First Officer Riker.
He's a little more even-tempered, but I think that goes with the times rather than the show was made in the late 80s, which I guess, we've evolved a little bit. So, yeah,
Last Outpost started off dope, ended off, like, terribly.
It ends like an old Star Trek episode, like on a set filled with smoke, a few rocks, and a cheap matte painting of nothing. Or a scrim. Maybe it's just a scrim that's being lit a certain way. And an omnipotent being who tests the Enterprise, figures out they're okay, and lets them go on their way.
Exactly.
And, well, they also do a callback to the Tribbles joke at the end of that episode where they beam over a whole box of Chinese finger traps. Because Data's obsessed with Chinese finger traps.
Well, because he gets his finger stuck in one.
Right, that some kids had left in the conference room. It's also another interesting thing, the way children are always on the ship. Like, you see them in almost every episode. They go out of their way once to remind you that there are kids here. And that Riker knows them by name. And he's like, Jeremy, Dave, out of here.
Get out of here.
You're never supposed to be
Jeremy, now you know you're not supposed to be in here.
We agreed. That if I let you have a phaser, bad First Officer.
Next week we'll be discussing Where No One Has Gone Before,
which I've already watched.
Men and women both.
Yes, I like
No
that.
One Has Gone Before. I do like that as well. Lonely Among Us and Justice.
Very exciting. Hopefully, I mean, the first season, it's supposed to like really pick up after the first half, I think. So I'm really excited to get through. It's kind of like season 1 of Doctor Who, right? You just get through it.
It's good,
and it's pretty good, but it ends stronger than it starts.
But
right?
so far, this hasn't been so good. I mean, Encounter at Farpoint was dope. I like that a lot. But this week's episode, I mean, like overall, I give it like a D, maybe a C.
I like what they're doing with the characters. The plots I'm not enjoying so much. But I will say I've already watched the first episode for next week's, and I think it shows a lot of promise for the show. The things they do in this episode I really enjoyed.
You also like the naked now, though.
I like this more
than the naked now.
Yeah, I wish they were naked now. Bunch of clothed motherfuckers.
Yeah, the Ferengi bring up a point about apparently like Ferengi women don't wear clothes.
Yeah, and that's a horrible offense, the fact that they clothe their women, which will